We are very pleased to welcome Drew Brees to the program here with us on the phone. Drew, it's been a long time, and thank you very much for doing this. And I want to talk first and foremost about something I'm sure you're asked about daily, and that is age. This is your age 40 season, and you and Tom Brady are trying to go places that are basically uncharted territory. How is it different for you now, preparing and playing, than it was for you earlier in your career?
Well, I think the biggest challenge week to week is still just, it's still just the preparation, right, and the grind of each and every day, kind of having your routine in regards to your film study and the game plan that you're putting together, and just rehearsing it over and over in your mind, making sure that you have all the answers for whatever you might face. I think the benefit of having played so long is that you just have this. You've got plenty of experience and plenty of knowledge. There's so many things that throughout the course of a game or a season that you're going to see that you can go back and reference from past experiences, and it'll help you, maneuver whatever that challenge might be. So I think that's where the benefit of experience, and age comes in. And I'd say the downside of that is just maybe it takes a little bit longer, to get warmed up every day, right? And maybe a little bit longer when it comes to the recovery and some of those things. But at the end of the day, I feel really good. I feel as good, throwing the ball now as I ever have.
I've talked to so many recently retired players who told me that if it was all about the games on Sundays, they would never have walked away. But it's exactly what you're talking about. All of that work you have to put in the offseason, all of the work you have to do during the week leading up to the game. Where is it inside of you? What is it inside of you that makes you still want to take all of that on at the age of 40?
I still feel like there's something to be accomplished and something to prove. And listen, I love our team. I feel like we have a great window of opportunity here. I feel like we've continued to build, over the last couple of years to get to this point, to get to this opportunity, and I want to maximize it.
I hate to even bring this up because in any season which your team does not win a championship, obviously it ends with some disappointment. But in consecutive years, your team has lost with such difficult circumstances, the Minnesota Miracle of a couple of years ago, and then obviously the bad call last season. What does it take to come back from that? What does it take inside of you to bounce back from defeats that had to be as difficult and painful as those were?
Well, third time's a charm, hopefully. You have to grow, right? You have to try to draw from every experience and somehow, some way turn it into a positive, even as painful as it might be at the time. And understand that if you continue to do things the right way, good things will happen. And like I said, I really like our team, and I feel like we've, from over the last 2 years, listen, we've done a great job, I think, in the draft, going out and acquiring not just young talent, but good guys in the locker room, good leaders, a level of maturity that I think we were lacking for a few years prior to that. And so now, we've got this team that is young, talented guys, and yet, they're reaching this level where, man, the light bulb is beginning to come on, right? And understand how to work, how to prepare, how to win, what it takes to do it on a consistent basis each and every week in the NFL, which is difficult to do. And that's what gets me excited. That's what, gets me excited every day to come to work and be around these guys and continue to build on what I feel like we're the foundation we're creating.
Can I say two quick things that are going on around the league? One of them is a rule that was created basically because of the NFC Championship game last year about the ability to challenge pass interference. That came up over the weekend in some preseason games, and I've heard a lot of mixed opinion. What are your thoughts on the new rule?
Well, only time will tell, right? We're going to see how it affects some games. I think any time you're talking about going and evaluating something that is a judgment call, right, on by replay, I think it's hard to say that it's going to be consistent every time. Different than when you go and you review a play where, hey, was his knee down or not, right? Or did the ball cross the line or not? I think those are probably much easier to see and determine. when you go back and look at a replay. But for someone to sit there and say, if you ask 10 people in a room, was that pass interference or was it not? You may get half that say it is and half that say it isn't. All right? Even though the letter of the law may be written a certain way, I think there's different interpretations. So, who is consistently making those decisions in New York, in the booth when it goes to review, right? Al Riveron and his team, is it going to be a consistent, decision each and every time? I don't know. I mean, I know this on Sundays, depending on who the officiating crew is, you're going to get different interpretations. There's some crews that call a lot of pass interferences, and there's some that call very few. And again, that's based on the interpretation that they have, or the fact that some are like, hey, we're going to let the guys play. And others are like, no, we're going to call a little closer to the vest. So, listen, time will tell, right? We'll see. But I think when you start reviewing what are judgment calls or interpretation calls, that's when it gets a little gray.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.